Hey boys and girls, it's Chris Eads, otherwise known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. This week, I want to talk about the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddess, which I saw again, thanks to my husband, who surprised me with tickets to the show. It was at a theater in New York City, lovely old theater that I can't remember the name of right off the top of my head. It was all the way up on 175th Street, which was a bit of a hike, but well worth it. It was a lovely show. I got this shirt at the first time I saw it, which was years ago, when I think it was the very first tour, when it came to New York City. I was still writing for GayGamer.net at the time, so I still had a connection at Nintendo at the time, and they were like, hey, would you like to see the show? Here's the ticket. And I said, thank you very much. And I went to see the show, and it was lovely. It's obviously a different show because there's plenty of Zelda games with plenty of different music to choose from. So it's been touring ever since then, constantly it seems, and so there's lots to work with, so every time you see it, it's different. In fact, I have a friend who has seen the show like 4 or 5 times and keeps going back, and it's always different, apparently. So, I don't need to see it that much, but this was a lovely surprise. I enjoyed it. My husband, not so much. I mean, he's played some Zelda games, but not a lot, and he never plays them through to completion. Although, to be fair, he did play A Link Between Worlds all the way until the final boss. He never gets that far. He usually gets like halfway through, and then he's just like, I'm bored now. He doesn't have the attention span to keep playing a game to its conclusion. But he did actually play that one all the way to the final boss, and then he gave up because the final boss fight was just too hard for him, and he just said, fuck it, I don't care. I can't finish it. So I feel bad that he didn't get to have the sense of completion. But he did make it pretty far. Usually he gives up after like a few hours of gameplay, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. So he was watching it going like, eh. If you don't know, Symphony of the Goddess is just an orchestra on a stage playing all the music from Zelda games. And on a big screen, they alternate footage of whatever game they're playing the music to, and sometimes shots of the orchestra playing their instruments. So I was actually very happy with this most recent one, because in the second half, they played some in the first half, but in the second half they did a whole section all devoted to Wind Waker, which is still probably my favorite Zelda game. I know it's a controversial choice. I know a lot of people hate the boat, and they hate sailing around. I did not mind, so I didn't care. I love it because I love that art style. Toon Link is my favorite Link. And in fact, it's actually, I think, the first Zelda game that I've ever finished, where I was actually able to get to the ending and beat Ganon and win and see the ending of the game. Because that doesn't happen very often with Zelda games. I have finished a few others now, but that was the first, so it holds a special place in my heart. Also, funnily enough, while waiting for the show to start, I was on my 3DS, street passing the hell out of everybody, but I don't care because there's no more puzzles, which is the only thing I do in Street Pass anymore. So they can have my puzzle pieces, whatever. I was playing Animal Crossing because I hadn't played Animal Crossing yet that day, so I sat down, and while waiting for the show to start, I was playing Animal Crossing, with the sound off, obviously, because they're playing Zelda music to get everybody in the mood. And it occurred to me that I would love nothing more than to attend an Animal Crossing Symphony concert that just played all the beautiful ambient music from Animal Crossing games. Daytime, nighttime, seasonal, whatever. And you could have some guy come out in a KK Slider costume and go meet meow and do that. And it would be amazing. And I would be in the front row. But one thing that the Symphony of the Goddess did do is they did do some Breath of the Wild, and especially at the end they did like the very final number, like in the encore, which is so weird to see at a symphony. Like, you expect that in, like, a rock concert or something, that they, like, leave the stage and you're like, yeah, great show, you're coming back out and we know it. And then they come back out and they do a couple more songs. They came back out to do more songs, and one of which they concluded with some Breath of the Wild, which is super annoying because the Goron City theme was stuck in my head for a while afterwards on the way home, because that was what they closed with, and it's really catchy. But seeing the Breath of the Wild footage, they actually had a quick clip of Link facing off against Ganon at the end of the game, which I've not seen, because I'm like just before Ganon, and I've been doing all kinds of other stuff, but I haven't actually played Breath of the Wild in months. I've been playing No Man's Sky, I've been playing Infamous, I've been playing other games. I've not been playing Breath of the Wild, and it occurs to me I should probably finish that. You might recall, many episodes ago, I purchased the DLC pack. So I actually have the first pack of DLC, which I don't really care about. I'm more interested in the second half of the DLC, which is like new missions and story stuff, which will happen at some point. I think in November or December it's supposed to come out. I'm not sure. They haven't announced it. But I could explore the first part of the DLC. I just haven't. And I realized that I should probably do that. I should at least try to defeat Ganon. And if it's too hard, then whatever. You know, I just say, I can't finish this game. And then I can do other things, and like maybe I can make myself strong enough that at some point in the future I can go back. But I feel like I need to try to finish it because I have this weird rule, which I don't always stick to, as you might know if you're a longtime viewer. I don't like to buy a new game until I have finished the game that I'm already playing on that system. For instance, you might recall that recently I have been interested in the new Professor Layton game, but I'm not buying that because I'm still playing Miitopia. And when I finish Miitopia, I will then buy the new Professor Layton game. So, yes, I did buy the Picross game for the Switch, but that's just a puzzle game that I play here and there casually whenever I have a few minutes that I don't want to get involved in some big thing. I'll just do a puzzle or two. So, the thing is that next month, in literally just less than a month, like in 4 weeks or whatever, less than 4 weeks, Skyrim is coming out for the Switch, and I'm super excited about that. And it's coming out like the week before Thanksgiving, which is super awesome because it means that my annoying commute through all the Thanksgiving traffic to upstate New York to my sister's will be a lot more palatable because I'll be able to play I'll be able to play Skyrim and just explore and lose myself, and the 2.5 to 3.5 hours, depending on traffic, will go by a lot faster. But the thing is I feel like if I'm going to buy Skyrim, I should probably at least try to finish Breath of the Wild to justify it. So that gives me a month. So I just have to find the time to sit down and play Breath of the Wild and reorient myself with the controls that I have now forgotten because I haven't played it in so long. And then the other thing is like, I'm still playing Infamous, and I'm like, you know, wrapping that up, but so I don't know if I feel like I shouldn't. Can I finish Infamous and then finish Breath of the Wild? Or should I stop and put Infamous on hold and then play Breath of the Wild? I don't know. We'll see what happens. The problem is that my new job, which is not a new job because I've been there for almost 2 years now, my previous job, I had a very long commute. If I was still doing that job with my super long commute, I'd have finished Breath of the Wild, I'd have finished all the DLC, I'd have done all of that, because I would be bringing my Switch with me every single day. But my commute as it stands now, I can play Animal Crossing and that's about it. I won't be able to play Switch games on my commute, my daily commute. I could play it like at lunch or something, but I can't play it on the train. It's really not going to happen. Not a lot. So, it's hard. I sort of miss the long commute, but then I sort of don't miss the long commute because I like being able to get home in a decent hour. So, we'll see what happens with that, but I am promising you, and I am going to ask you guys to hold me to it, that I finish Breath of the Wild before, or at least try to finish Breath of the Wild. Give it a good shot trying to defeat Ganon make my way into Hyrule Castle and try to defeat Ganon before I pick up Skyrim. So, hold me to that. I have no other gaming news, but I did see a movie in addition to the Symphony. And again, I saw a movie that makes me so happy that I have this Movie Pass, I'm telling you right now. Because I'm now, like, in my second month of Movie Pass, so, like, I think it's, like, in the 15th or 16th is, like, my billing cycle. So, basically, I'm now in the November billing cycle, so they've billed me another $9.95. And I've basically decided that I'm going to pay the $9.95 in a few weeks for Thor, because I know that I will enjoy that, and that will be worth my $9.95, and then everything else I see is free. Because this weekend I saw Geostorm, which was so ridiculous. I don't want to say it's bad. It's a bad movie, but it's an entertaining bad movie. I just wish it was a little worse, because it could have been amazing, but it wasn't bad enough to be awesomely bad. It was just bad enough to be entertainingly bad. Weather satellites have gone kerflooey and they're making crazy weather around the world and killing millions of people. And it's very, like, sci-fi, action, adventure stuff, but there's a little too much talking and less crazy weather. I would have liked to have seen a few more scenes of crazy weather sprinkled throughout the beginning of the film and not just held until the end. There's, like, a couple of things, and it's mostly just talking. Then you have crazy stuff at the end. It was kind of fun. But, again, thankfully, I can just say, you know what? That was free. Because my $10 is going to go towards Thor. Especially because the theater that we saw it at, it was like a $16 movie ticket. And I'm like, who the hell is paying $16 to see a movie? Unfortunately, my husband paid $16 to see that. So I feel bad for him. I, at the very least, paid $9.95. Which is still too much to pay for it. But even if I didn't see anything else for a month, it's still better than 16 bucks. So, short one this week. Aren't you happy about that? And I'll see you back here next time, and we'll talk about some more gaming stuff. I'll let you know if maybe I happen to play some Breath of the Wild or not, and explore Hyrule Castle. We'll see what happens. I do need the Hylian Shield, though. That would be super awesome to get, so I think I'm going to go in search of that. Come back and find out if I did. See you then. Bye!